So today we'll discuss about the matching policies. So matching policies is nothing but if whenever you post any invoices, if there is any discrepancy, let's say if the amount is not matching. See, initially you might have agreed with the vendor to purchase any product for like 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees. And while receiving an invoice, if there is any discrepancy, if it is lesser than the actual price, I mean compared to the the PO price, or if it is greater than the PO price, users should be able to have a control whether they have to receive an invoice, or it should throw an error. So all these kind of controls we can give in the matching policies. Similarly, even with regards to like charges, and then even quantity also, not only price, even if there is a discrepancy in the quantity, what quantity received, even that also will have to give few controls. So uh, before discussing about matching policies, let me share you this one document here. Yeah. Now, this one.
ఫ్యాన్ కింద
Yes.
కూర్చున్నావా శ్రీనివాస్?
ఒక్క నిమిషం ఆఫ్ చేస్తున్నా. ఇప్పుడు వినబడుతుందా?
ఇప్పుడు బాగుంది.
Okay. So, in accounts payable, as I mentioned, while receiving a products, there are chances, right? You might receive some less quantity or more quantity, or initially you might have discussed or agreed for some price. Later, due to some market demand or any reason, uh, vendor might increase the price, or he might reduce the price also, right? So for that reason, in our system, we'll have to give you a few controls. See, there are four types. One is invoice totals matching, and two-way matching, three-way. See, these two are same. Like invoice totals matching and two-way matching, and then the three-way matching and this charges matching. See, don't get confused. Let me explain here. See, invoice matching or two-way matching. So in invoice matching or two-way matching, we'll focus only on the price. So, if there is any difference in the quantity, mostly this is applicable to service related products. Service related, instead of products, if you're dealing with any services, if you're dealing with any of these services, then since there is no the product is not applicable, right? The quantity is not applicable. So for that reason, in accounts payable parameters, let me show you how does it looks. So if there is any difference, let's say instead of 1,000 rupees, if vendor sent an invoice for 1,100 rupees, you can give some variance till what extent, to what percentage, to what amount you can accept the products. Yes. So in accounts payable parameters, we have something called as invoice validation here. So in invoice validation, by default, these options will be like, I mean, flagged to no. You can enable to yes. See, as soon as you enable this option, right? Even below option, okay. Initially, it will be in no option, no status, right? If you even this option will be these two options like invoice totals matching, price and quantity, charges matching. So charges matching also we have an option here. So charges matching is nothing but uh, while creating purchase order, if you have incurred some handling fee of labor fee of 100 rupees or 200 rupees in header, and even in the line level, you can give that 100 rupees or 200 rupees, right? But while receiving an invoice, if there is any discrepancy, or if you are incurring some more expenses, or if vendor has added some added he's increased the charges like a handling fee or labor fee, even there if you enter, it will throw an error. there we can give some percentage here, like till what is the tolerance. We'll call it as a tolerance percentage. Till what extent this difference can be tolerated. So if you want to enable, if you want to utilize, if you want to give controls on of any of this price and quantity, invoice totals matching, and then charges, first we'll have to enable this one option. Enable invoice matching validation. So once you enable this option, we have again two options here. So one is allow with warning and require approval. So if you give this require approval, the moment if there is a, if system finds out if there is any discrepancy, then unless and until if you give an approval, the system will not process for the next one. I mean, it will not process the invoice here. Also, there is an option called automatically update invoice. If you give this automatically update invoice, do you remember while creating the purchase order, in the during the invoice stage, there's an we'll have to click on the update match status, right? So if you give this automatically update invoice, then you need not to click on update match status. By default, update match status will be passed here. So first we'll have to enable invoice matching validation, and then there's a self-help text here. It will explain, it will give you more details over here. You can go through that one. And let's say we'll give this option as a require approval, or if you want to remove this and just let users to post this invoice without having any interruption, just if you can give this option as a allow with warning. So let's give this require approval and automatically updated invoice as yes. Also, invoice totals matching, as I mentioned, here we'll be comparing this price with the invoice and PO, right? So in PO, let's say if you are giving some 1,000 rupees and invoice you have received for invoices you have received for 1,100 rupees. That means there is a difference of 10%, right? So here we have an option. If you want to accept any such product, invoices, you can just enable this match invoice totals. And then we have two options here. One is greater than tolerance, and one is greater than or less than. See, there are chances you might receive for less price also, right? So if you want to enable only this greater than tolerance, then if there is any difference, instead of 1,000 rupees, if you're receiving invoice for 900 rupees, then users will not be able to post that invoice. So it is always suggested, or as a practice, you can give both, like greater than or less than. I mean, it depends on the company practice. So you have both options. One is for greater than tolerance, or greater than or less than tolerance. So here there's a percentage. It will take on the invoice percentage. You can either give 10% or 15% or anything. So this is something about the invoice matching or two-way matching. One more thing, that is for price and quantity. Yeah. So this price, in this price and quantity, this is applicable to purchase orders. Obviously, in the purchase order, you will have the GR and the goods also, right? This is not. This is applicable to only service related. So in this purchase and quantity, so let's say if there is any discrepancy in the price and quantity both. So we have a tolerance here. So even here also, price, quantity, compared with invoice and PO. This price and quantity will be compared with the PO, GRN, and invoice. So if there is any discrepancy, we have a controls here. So for that, we'll have to enable by default this option with the line matching policy will be not required. We can give either it as a three-way matching or two-way matching, and here we have option the same. the greater or less than the tolerance. Let's give this as a greater or less than the tolerance, and allow matching policy override. So higher than the company policy or lower or higher than the company policy. So it says that one. So if you want to enable this option, let's give three-way matching policy here. Also match price totals. We have two options. One is percentage amount. So let's give some percentage here. Then this percentage field will be enabled. Let's give some 10 percentage. Display price total match. So even here also, this is also related to same, like whatever the like three-way matching you gave, right? The display unit price match or display the total while creating the purchase order. If you remember in the GRN and invoice, we have two options. Like if you click on the totals, we have two options, right? That is price match, and there's a total invoice match. So this is for the unit price. If you see here, this is the total price. So this, I mean, whatever the percentage you are giving, right, that is applicable to both unit price and total price. If you want to enable this is only for unit price, you can enable this as an only for greater than tolerance, or if you want to give for the total price match, you can enable this option. There are two options. One is for total price, and I mean, you if you want, you can give like greater than. If you want to give for unit price only greater than, you can give this option. So that if there is any less than, if you're receiving an product, let's say instead of 1,000 rupees only for 980 rupees, and in your PO, if there are multiple lines, and one line is matching and one line is not matching, in that scenario, it will go by the unit price. So we'll take few examples and we'll see. Since we have given the percentage, right? So we'll give this as a percentage. Similarly, there's one more thing, that is charges matching. So the charges during this, if you enable this charges matching, if there is any discrepancy in while creating the purchase order, even here also will give some 10 percentage as a variance tolerance percentage, and also will give both greater than or less than. So this charges matching is not applicable in at the during GRN stage, because in GRN it will not show any details with regards to charges, right? These charges will show only in PO and invoice, because in warehouse what happens, they are least bothered about the invoice, or I mean, or whatever the charges that you are going to incur. They will just check the quantity. That's all. If you have ordered as per the PO, if it is 1,000 quantity, and if they have received a 1,000 quantity, then they will just post the GRN. But later, once you receive an invoice, that is where invoice validation team, they will get to know all these charges. If there is any, they will check everything, right? So in general, what happens, all these things we'll have to do it manually. I mean, there will be separate validation team, right? They will have to check all these things. So for that reason, we'll have to give those controls here. Till what percentage can company this code tolerate this one? Initially, if you have entered an agreement with vendor to charge some 500 rupees of an insurance or any transport or anything, but later while receiving an invoice, if vendor has added some instead of 500, if there is any for some reason, if you had added some 600 or 700 rupees, you should have in control here. Till what extent your end users can accept they can accept the invoices. Since we have enabled all these options, right, like line matching policy, everything, let's try to create some purchase orders here. So till now, do you have any doubts here? Ritesh, Siddharth?
ఒక్కసారి ప్రైస్ అండ్ క్వాంటిటీలో నువ్వైతే ఎనేబుల్ చేసావు కదా, అది ఒక్కసారి మళ్ళీ చూపివా పారామీటర్స్లో?
ప్రైస్ అండ్ క్వాంటిటీ మ్యాచింగ్ లో మనకు 3-way మ్యాచింగ్ ఉంది, 2-way మ్యాచింగ్ ఉంది, నాట్ రిక్వైర్డ్ ఉంది. అలో మ్యాచింగ్ పాలసీ ఓవర్ రైడ్ ఉంది. ఒకటి డిస్ప్లే యూనిట్ ప్రైస్ మ్యాచ్ ఐకాన్ ఉంది. ఇక్కడ పర్సంటేజ్ అన్న వేసుకోవచ్చు, అమౌంట్ అన్న ఇచ్చుకోవచ్చు. అంటే అమౌంట్ ఇస్తే టోటల్ అమౌంట్ అనేది ఇర్రెస్పెక్టివ్ ఆఫ్ ప్రైస్, అంటే ప్రైస్ అంటే మల్టిపుల్ ప్రోడక్ట్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా, ఆ మల్టిపుల్ ప్రోడక్ట్స్ ఉన్నప్పుడు నువ్వు ప్రైస్ ఇచ్చుకోవడం కంటే పర్సంటేజ్ ఇవ్వడం బెస్ట్ కదా. అంటే పర్సంటేజ్ ఇస్తే అన్ని ప్రోడక్ట్స్ కి అప్లికబుల్ అయిపోతుంది కదా.
ఆ డిస్ప్లే యూనిట్ ప్రైస్ మ్యాచ్ ఐకాన్ అంటే ఏంటిది?
ఈ డిస్ప్లే యూనిట్ ప్రైస్ మ్యాచ్ ఐకాన్ అనేది ఒక్క నిమిషం ఉండి చూద్దాం. నువ్వు ఈ మనకు పర్చేజ్ ఆర్డర్ క్రియేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఒక్కొక్క యూనిట్కి ఒక ప్రైస్ ఉంటుంది కదా.
అవును.
ఆ ప్రైస్ డిస్క్రిపెన్సీనే కదా మనం ఇక్కడ ఇవ్వాల్సింది.
ఓకే.
ఇప్పుడు ఒక మొబైల్ ఆర్డర్ చేస్తున్నావు వెండర్తో, 1000 రూపీస్ ఉందనుకో, ఆ 1000 రూపీస్లో నువ్వు ఎంతవరకు యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయాలనుకుంటున్నావు? ఇఫ్ దెర్ ఈస్ ఎ వేరియన్స్, what is it? If you want to go as per the percentage, there is an option here. If you want to go as per the amount, there is an option here. ఇప్పుడు ఇనీషియల్గా నువ్వు వెండర్తో ఏమన్నా అగ్రిమెంట్ ఎంటర్ అయ్యావు అనుకో, ఆర్ లైక్ వెండర్ మైట్ హ్యావ్ గివెన్ సమ్ కండిషన్. I cannot assure you the price, today's price. Later, today I cannot. Today we are just entering an agreement for 1000 rupees. Later, after 1 month, if there is any discrepancy for some reason, if vendor says that there are chances prices might increase, then you can give controls to your end users. You are giving an instruction to the warehouse team stating that you accept this product only if there is a tolerance of between 10%.
ఓకే.
So, while creating a purchase order, I'll show you, for example. అర్థమైందా అసలు ఈ పర్పస్? సిద్ధార్థ్ ఉన్నావా?
శ్రీనివాస్ ఓకే శ్రీనివాస్ అర్థం.
ఇప్పుడు ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చూస్తే నీకు అసలు ఆ ఫీల్డ్స్ పర్పస్ ఏంది అనేది అర్థమవుతుంది. We'll go one by one. For the timing, we'll go only for the invoice validation and invoice totals matching. Later, we'll come to the GRN also. Let me just click on save here. Okay. So, మనం ఇక్కడ we'll give some product here. We have given the charges also for that one. You click on the maintain charges, you can see here vendor freight. Let's say if you're giving some 500 rupees, if you want, you can delete and you can give whatever, like handling fee or anything. It is up to you. So once you give these charges, we'll have to allocate these charges also, right? Click on allocate charges. Let me give it for all lines. You can check here in the charges, maintain charges, it is allocated. Okay. So as per the PO, we are just this is in PO we are entering an agreement for 899 rupees. So there is no changes here. So in PO we'll just confirm this one. So while receiving the products also, so there's no discrepancy. We have ordered only one quantity and we are receiving only one quantity here. So even warehouse team also accepted the product because they will not look into the price. They will just accept the product as per the PO. They will just compare the PO. If there is any discrepancy in the quantity, they will highlight it, or else if it is matching, then they'll just accept. Now vendor has sent an invoice. Now click on generate invoice. Now vendor says that due to market demand, he wants to increase the price to, instead of 899, he wants to give this product for 920 rupees. Okay, so till now, are you clear with this one?
Yes, Srinivas.
Yes, Srinivas.
Okay. So I have just updated the price to from 899 to 920 rupees. Now, if you see this one, earlier there used to be an option called match update status, right? While creating the purchase order. Since we have enabled this option, something called as, I'll show you in accounts payable parameters. Automatically update invoice is here, right? We have enabled this option as a yes. For that reason, by default, the match status will be updated to pass. And even here, update match status option will be disabled here. It will not even show you. But for the normal invoice, while if you disable this option, there's an here in this ribbon, you can see the update match status. Right. So now I'll try to post this. Okay, if you want, you can just check the match product receipts also. Let me just click on OK. And we'll see the totals here. If you see the totals here, what is the actual amount we have ordered? That is for 899 rupees. But as per the invoice, it is showing as a 920 rupees, and the invoice amount is also 920 rupees. Now let me try to post this one. Okay. Can you tell me whether if I click on the post, whether it will get posted or not?
It will get posted. 10% is a tolerance limit, right?
Yes, that's the reason. We'll try to give
ఆ
this as
నైన్
a.
ట్వంటీ నువ్వు పెట్టినావా అది
నేను మనకి ఇన్వాయిస్ వచ్చింది 920కి పంపించాడు వెండర్.
ఆ 920 నువ్వు ఇక్కడ ఎడిట్ చేసావా?
మనం ఎడిట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు కదా ఇన్వాయిస్ ఎంత ఏమో
ఓకే
ఇక్కడ.
ఓకే నువ్వు చూడలేదు ఆ స్క్రీన్.
సో మనకు వెండర్ వచ్చేసి 920కి పంపించాడు బిల్లు. సో 920 వేస్తున్నాం ఇక్కడ. సో బై డిఫాల్ట్ ఇక్కడ చూడు. ఓకే, లెట్స్ సే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ 899, if he wants to charge this for 1100 rupees. ఇక్కడ ఏముంది మ్యాచ్ స్టేటస్ ఏముంది ఫెయిల్డ్ వచ్చేసింది. ఎందుకు?
10% లాంటి లేదు కాబట్టి.
సో 10% కంటే ఎక్కువ ఉంది. If you see the difference between 899 and 1100, okay, if you want to know more details, like if you want to see the variance percentage or to what extent there is a different everything, there's an option called under ribbon. We have review, right? In this review, under matching, click on the matching details. You have multiple options here. You can check, like, there's a difference between the price only, right? See, this is the actual price. See, it will show you the both prices, that is as per the invoice and as per the purchase order. As per the purchase order, you are supposed to receive this product for 899 rupees, but instead of that, you are receiving this product for 1100 rupees, and there's a difference of 201 rupees. So, which is exceeding the 10% which we gave in the parameters. That is a tolerance percentage. So, for that reason, it is showing us the error, or it is not allowing us to go for the next option. And the quantity, it is same. See, invoice quantity and the product receipt quantity and the purchase order quantity it is same, so there's no problem with this. And if you go to the invoice totals, same problem, it will show the invoice totals. See, price in the sense it is showing the unit price here. Invoice in the it's a total amount. So let's say if you are having some 10 quantity, so here still the price unit will be 1 only, and then the invoice totals will be what is the total difference. If you're purchasing for 10 products, then there is a difference of 2001 rupees, right? So that amount will be shown here, 2010 rupees. So in this case, since we gave this an option called as an approval, right? So it has to be approved. Since there is a discrepancy, it has to be approved here. So if you want to approve this invoice, right, let me just show you invoice totals matching also clearly. If you click on the invoice totals matching, we can even see the percentage also. What is the actual invoice total? That is 1,009 rupees expected. So this is what something we are supposed to receive at 899 rupees, but instead of this one, we have received it for 1,100 rupees. What is the difference? That is variance percentage 22.36. But it is exceeding more than 10 percentage, right? For that reason, also this is applicable to compare charges value. So charges is nothing but the handling fee or the insurance or whatever you are giving, right? Since here there is no problem with that, it will accept that one. Click on approval. We have an option called approve posting with matching policy, matching discrepancies. See, it says that I just wanted to show the entire description. Yeah, if you see here, it says select this option to approve the selected invoice for posting, even though price or quantity is matching discrepancies or policy violation exists. So as I mentioned, whenever there's a discrepancy, right, we'll have to approve this option. To enable this option, will initially in the accounts payable matching, you have to give this option. Okay, uh, that we can see it later. Let me try to post this one by clicking on approve. Click on save. Here, if you see the match status, it will be failed only because it will not come to the passed status. Because it is not matching as per the variance percentage. That means there is an approval. Whatever we have given, that is an additional step. But if it comes less than 10 percentage, if the tolerance percentage, if the difference amount is less than 10 percentage, by default it will come to the match status as in passed year. Okay, anyways, we have already updated the match products repeat. Now let me click on the post here. See, even as I mentioned, it is not necessary that invoice has to be in the past status only. Even if it is in not performed also, you can post this because there is an approval, right? If you click on the invoice journal and click on the view accounting, you can see the amount. Same. 1,100 rupees for inventory, and then the 500 rupees for charges. Can someone tell me what is the actual price here and whether the charges has been added to inventory or not by looking at this one? Hello.
యాడ్ అయినాయి కదా.
సో ఇది చూసే ఇన్వెంటరీలో యాడ్ అయిపోయింది ఇక్కడ. ఓకే, అంటే ఇన్వాయిస్లో ఏం డిఫరెన్స్ ఉండదు. అంటే మనకు ఇక్కడ ఇది ఏంటంటే జస్ట్ యూజర్స్కి యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయాలా వద్దా అనే దానికోసం అంతే. ఇది క్లియర్ ఇక్కడ? Okay, just give me 1 minute. సిద్ధార్థ్, అర్థమైందా ఇది? హలో రితేష్.
శ్రీనివాస్.
ఓకే, now we'll try to go for the 3-way matching and 2-way matching here. Let me enable this as and save here. Then we'll try to create a, and I will try to create a purchase order with the discrepancy in the quantity and matching price both. If you want to go for the 3-way matching, we'll go only for the quantity and price both. Click on new. We'll go with some 10 quantity. So instead of freight, we'll go for any other charges. Let's go for the insurance. 600 rupees. Click on save.
ఈ ఛార్జ్ స్క్రీన్కి ఎక్కడ వెళ్ళాము? పర్చేస్
Purchase
మెయింటైన్
ఉందా?
ఛార్జ్.
మెయింటైన్ చార్జెస్
మెయింటైన్
లో ఇక్కడ నువ్వు చార్జెస్ ఇవ్వాల్సింది.
ఓకే.
ఇక్కడ నువ్వు చార్జెస్ ఫస్ట్ ఇనీషియల్ గా ఇక్కడ ఇవ్వాలి. తర్వాత అలొకేట్ చార్జెస్ మీద క్లిక్ చేయాలి. అలొకేట్ చార్జెస్ మీద క్లిక్ చేసి ఇక్కడ మనం ఆప్షన్స్ ఉంటాయి, నెట్ అమౌంట్, క్వాంటిటీ, పర్ లైన్. సో నెట్ అమౌంట్ ఇస్తే పర్చేజ్ ఆర్డర్‌లో ఎన్ని లైన్స్ ఉంటే అన్ని లైన్స్‌కి అప్లై అయిపోతది. ఇక్కడ ఆప్షన్స్ ఉంటాయి మనకు. ఆల్ లైన్స్, పాజిటివ్ లైన్స్, నెగెటివ్ లైన్స్. నెగెటివ్ లైన్స్ అనేది క్రెడిట్ నోట్‌కి సంబంధించినది. సో, ఇక్కడ అలొకేట్ ఆల్ క్లిక్ చేసామనుకో అన్ని లైన్స్‌కి అప్లై అవుతది. లేదంటే షో సెలక్షన్స్ అండ్ క్లియర్ స్పెసిఫిక్ లైన్స్ ఉందనుకో ఇక్కడ లెట్స్ లైక్ ఒక 5, 6 అంటే మల్టిపుల్ లైన్స్ ఉన్నాయనుకో అందులో నువ్వు లైన్ సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఆ లైన్స్‌కి మాత్రమే చార్జెస్ అనేవి అప్లికేబుల్ అయితాయి. అంటే నువ్వు ఒక వెండర్ దగ్గర ఒక 10 ప్రొడక్ట్స్ ఆర్డర్ చేస్తున్నావు. బట్ లేబర్ చార్జెస్ అనేది ఓన్లీ 5 ప్రొడక్ట్స్‌కే నువ్వు ఇవ్వాలనుకో. ఆ 5 ప్రొడక్ట్స్‌కి మాత్రమే నువ్వు ఇక్కడ ఆ 5 లైన్ ఐటెమ్స్ మాత్రమే సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకోవచ్చు అట్లా. అదే అలొకేట్ ఆల్ క్లిక్ చేసామనుకో బై డిఫాల్ట్ అన్ని లైన్స్‌కి అప్లై అయిపోతది. అట్లా. రిసీవ్డ్ అంటే ఓన్లీ ఫర్ రిసీవ్డ్ ప్రొడక్ట్స్ ఇర్రెస్పెక్టివ్ ఆఫ్ అంటే ఎప్పుడైతే ప్రొడక్ట్స్ రిసీవ్ అవుతుంటాయో ఆ ప్రొడక్ట్స్‌కి మాత్రమే అప్లై అవుతూ ఉంటుంది ఇట్లా. ఇది అలొకేట్ చేసేసాం కదా! అలొకేట్ అలొకేట్ చేసిన తర్వాత అలొకేట్ చేసేసాం. సో, అలొకేట్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఇక్కడికొచ్చి ఫైనాన్షియల్స్‌లో మెయింటైన్ చార్జెస్ మీద క్లిక్ చేస్తే నీకు కనబడతది. ఓకే. క్లిక్ ఆన్ పర్చేజ్ కన్ఫర్మేషన్. వైల్ ఓకే. ప్రొడక్ట్ రిసిప్ట్ చేద్దాం ఒకసారి. PRN 180. Let's say if you're receiving some 11 products, or let's say instead of 10, we'll go for the 8 products. Okay. Now we'll try to click on the OK here. Sure. సో ఇది ఒక్క నిమిషం ఉండు. మనము ఇలా చేయకూడదు ఇది. ఓకే. పెండింగ్ వెండర్ ఇన్వాయిస్ ఉంది కదా! మనం ఇంకొక ఇన్వాయిస్ పోస్ట్ చేద్దాం. సరే ప్రోడక్ట్ రిసిప్ట్. ఓకే. యాహ్! ఇప్పుడు మనము యాక్చువల్‌గా 12 క్వాంటిటీ రిసీవ్ చేసుకోవాలి కదా! కానీ 12 బదులుగా మనం ఎన్ని చేసాము? 15 చేసాం. సో, ఎర్రర్ ఏమొస్తుంది చూడు, ఓవర్ డెలివరీ లైన్ ఈస్ 30%. బట్ వాట్ ఈస్ ద అలౌడ్ ఓవర్ డెలివరీ పర్సెంటేజ్? దట్ ఈస్ ఓన్లీ 0.00 అన్నారు. సో, నిమిషం ఇది ఓవర్ డెలివరీ కంటే ట్రై టు పోస్ట్
तिला आत घे पहिले चुलीला. कोण कोण आहे?
ఓకే. ఇది డిజేబుల్ అయిపోయింది ఇది.
जरा दे दे दे. हे दे नाही तर हे घे. आई हे टॉफी देते.
ఒక్క 2 మినిట్స్ ఉండు. ఏదో మెసేజ్
हाँ స్టక్ అయిందా శ్రీనివాస్ ఏమన్నా?
లేదు. ఒక మెసేజ్ వచ్చింటే ఆఫీస్ పింగ్ ఏదో వచ్చింటే. ఓకే. సో, జిఆర్ఎన్‌లో మనకు సో, మన లైక్ చెప్పాను కదా! ఇక్కడ జిఆర్ఎన్‌లో మనకు ఏం డిఫరెన్స్ ఉండదు. ఎందుకంటే జిఆర్ఎన్‌లో మనము జస్ట్ ఓవర్ డెలివరీ లైక్ హియర్ వి హావ్ 2 ఆప్షన్స్. వన్ ఈస్ ఫర్ ఓవర్ డెలివరీ అండ్ అండర్ డెలివరీ. If you give the description here, the percentage, then it will accept. But while receiving an invoice, అక్కడ 3-వే మ్యాచింగ్ పాలిసీ అప్లై అవుతుంది కదా! హలో!
చెప్పు శ్రీనివాస్.
మనకు పర్చేజ్ ఆర్డర్‌లో ఒక 10 క్వాంటిటీ ఆర్డర్ చేసింది సింపుల్‌గా. జిఆర్ఎన్‌లో 15 క్వాంటిటీ ఉంది. ఇన్వాయిస్‌లో ఒక 12 క్వాంటిటీ ఉందనుకో. సో, అప్పుడు మనకిక్కడ టాలరెన్స్ పర్సెంటేజ్ అనేది ఎలా వస్తదో చూద్దాం ఒకసారి. విల్ ట్రై టు క్రియేట్ అరే! ఇది ఆల్రెడీ ఒక ఇన్వాయిస్ చూపిస్తుంది. పెండింగ్ ఇన్వాయిసెస్ ఉందా? Invoice date ఇద్దాం. Let's say 12 quantity. సో, మ్యాచ్ ప్రొడక్ట్ రిసిప్ట్స్‌లో పేలొస్తది. ఒక నిమిషం ఉండు. కంప్లీట్‌గా న్యూ పర్చేజ్ ఆర్డర్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం. ఒక్క నిమిషం. ఎందుకో అప్లై అవ్వట్లేదు చార్జెస్ డిఫరెన్సెస్. ఓకే. So we will just create a new purchase order. Remember, we are giving for 10 quantity. Initially, we have created a purchase order for 20 quantity. So we'll try to see as per the tolerance, the quantity percentage. See the match price we have given for 10 percentage, right? And invoice total also we gave for 10 percentage. That means if there is any, if it is greater than or less than the 10 percentage, then it has to be, it will process. We'll try to create this purchase order or this invoice for more than 10%, and we'll see what does it says. Like we'll try to receive any product receipt for PRN. Let us assume that you are receiving this PRN for same 10 quantity, but while receiving an invoice, if there is any discrepancy, that is let's say some more than 15 quantity, so that the tolerance percentage will be exceeded. 181. Also, I'll try to edit the price also here, so that it will be a good example for us. 11, 20. So when now vendor came up stating that he may not be able to deliver this product for 899 rupees. So he wants to deliver this product for 1120, and he even sent the invoice also. That is for 1120 rupees. Also, the quantity also he could not deliver 10 quantity. I mean, he sent an invoice for only 8 quantity. Uh, so it says that the invoice updated quantity is less than the quantity of matched product receipts. So it is asking us to whether we can proceed this further for the next step or not. So we'll click on OK. Or we'll click on yes. If you see the match status, now it will be failed because it is not matching as per the tolerance percentage, like 10 percentage we give, right? So it is not falling under this bucket for either for quantity or even for the price. Also, if you want to see in depth, like what is the percentage under review, under matching details. Okay. As per the purchase order, we are supposed to receive this product for 899 rupees, right? And if you see the purchase total, the order total is, there's a difference of almost 30 percentage. So we'll see the quantity also. Even quantity is also not matching. For that reason, it is showing as in failed status, and it is not even matching as per uh, the parameters. Like we just give only 10%, right? It should be either greater than or less than 10 percentage. But if you see here, it is more than 10 percentage. That is, it's more than 20 percentage. And if you go to the invoice totals, even in the invoice total also, so this is the price per quantity. For one quantity, we are supposed to receive this product for 899 rupees. And if you go to the invoice totals also, 8960, and there's a difference of 1768 rupees. So this 1768 is more than 10 percentage, right? So for that reason, if you want to, since we have enabled this option as an approval, right, require approval. So we have an option here to approve this invoice with the same thing, like whatever we have received with the discrepancy. Also, you can see here the quantity is matching is 8 quantity, invoice total, expected price, and there's a price variance. this one. So unit price variance is 24.8 and unit price purchase price variance is 30. This is actually the quantity we are supposed to receive, unit price. Okay. Now let me click on save. I'll try to click on post. Yes, now it is posted here. So whenever there is a discrepancy, you have an option to enable this option, like in the invoice. Okay, now it is already posted. So as in, see, let's say if you didn't enable these options, like the tolerance percentage or anything with regards to this quantity, see three-way matching policy is applicable to both quantity and invoice both. I mean the price both. So that's the reason. Even though we have received only 8 quantity for, I mean invoice we have received for 8 quantity, right? So in general, if you have if you didn't enable any of these options, in earlier we have just created the normal purchase orders, right? So at that time it used to show here there's one more option to generate an invoice. That means for the one more like the remaining percentage, the remaining quantity. So do you remember while creating the multiple invoices, multiple GRNs, at that time we didn't throw any error, right?
No.
Yes. So that's the reason if there is any because system will assume that we'll be receiving in multiple invoices or multiple GRNs. In order to give if you give these controls, then there is a control, right? Like if there is any discrepancy, you can check all the details, or let's say if there is any hierarchy followed in any of your organization, the seniors they can check what is the discrepancy and they can approve or they can even give the comment as well. Now this purchase order is completed. If you go to the journals, invoice journals, the same entry it will be posted for received quantity only, the invoice amount. I mean, it will say it will take some time here. Yes, you can check it later. But you try to post few multiple purchase orders by giving multiple discrepancies like 10, 20 or something like that. Or you can even try for this one only two-way matching, not required everything. Also, while creating a invoice, right, try to give different amount of charges. ఓకే, ఇది అర్థమైందా సిద్ధార్థ్? హలో హలో రితేష్,
సో శ్రీనివాస్.
హలో.
శ్రీనివాస్ అర్థం ఉంది.
ఇది ఈ ఆప్షన్స్ ఒకటి ఎనేబుల్ చేయడం అంతే. ఇది అంటే నీ పర్పస్ తెలియాలి, అంటే ఏ ఫీల్డ్ దేనికి అని, అంతే, ఇంకేం లేదు. ఓకే, సరే మరి మళ్ళీ కనెక్ట్ అవుదాం.
ఓకే శ్రీనివాస్.